So I promised you the Queen, and the Queen is with me. Unfortunately, neither am I a king or a prince, so we're just going to start off this relationship with Kangana and just me as the host. So welcome. I'm going to start off. I've had, I would say, pretty much 90% of Bollywood on this show. But I've never said this to anybody. I'm a huge fan.
Okay.
Yours is the only movie that I've actually seen twice, and I've only seen it for you. So I'm starting off by setting those ground rules that if I suddenly start talking like a fan and not like the host of the show, just forgive me for that, okay?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, let's start. So I'm going to start off with, you know, we've never seen you do too much of tech, from what you do in the movies, in the kind of roles you do, or even otherwise with launches and, you know, being a brand ambassador. Tech isn't really something that's associated with you. So why this one, or why haven't you done it before?
I think in the past, my image itself, I've been, I think, somehow grown into this actor who's very kind of organic, very, you know, earthy and rooted, and that's the kind of characters I get to play mostly. But I think now it's not that this image has changed, or my, I think, brand somewhere stands for something very raw and very real. But I think there is a certain credibility to my consistent performance, and that's why many brands are identifying with me now, including tech brands. But before this, that wasn't the case.
Okay. Right, so good. I'm very glad, because now that tech brands are looking at you, at least I'll get to meet you more often when you do more launches. Okay, so about the product that you launched today. So for this company, this is a big one. It's a flagship, a very important move forward for them. So what did you like about this the most? A few things about the phone that you liked.
The phone itself, it is very pretty. It's a very beautiful looking phone, and it got double glass and metallic frame, and as a smartphone, it is kind of very progressive, you know, and it got everything. But for music as well, it got hi-fi sound, and music is a very important part of an artist's life, and I think that also kind of clicked with me. And it looks like a very expensive phone, and I thought that it is not as expensive as it looks.
So you're saying it's actually better the value for money, right? Okay.
Yeah, so I think it just kind of clicked with me.
Okay. So in your life, now that you've established that, you know, from the roles that you do and the image that you've had, you're not really much of a techie person for the rest of the world, because we all know you only through what you portray on screen. But otherwise, in real life, are you a very techie person? I mean, are you surrounded by technology all the while when you're out on shoots, when you're out elsewhere? What are the kind of gadgets with you, and what's your life? Is it very techie?
Unfortunately, it's not. I am a very basic person.
Okay.
But phone, and especially a smartphone or an iPod, is very essential, and especially when you travel a lot. You need your. I don't keep that diary anymore, so I plan everything on my phone. तो उसके लिए एक फ़ोन जो है बहुत ही essential part होता है, और अब तो फ़ोन एक आपकी personality का हिस्सा बन गया है. मतलब मैं तो क्या, मेरी दादी के पास भी फ़ोन है, तो मैं मुझसे ज़्यादा, मतलब सब लोग अब इतना high tech हो गए हैं, तो I think a smartphone is very, very must.
Techie to the point that you're actually taking that same image forward. So it's raw, basic, earthy, organic, even in the world of tech, right? That's the way you would you switch to this phone now?
I actually have, because when we had a meeting for this event, they gifted me one, and actually the box is like a jewelry box, you know. So I was very impressed how much they've spent on the box and the presentation part of it, and it's very classy, and that is very impressive, and I'm like, I'm so happy I'm doing something like this.
Okay, so I have the last question that I ask everybody out here, and that is, it's called the island question. Okay, so the choice that you have is that you're going to be marooned on an island, but you already know. So you're going to be on an island for a long time, but you can choose two things that you can take with you: a thing and a person. So the thing will obviously be this phone now, right? So you take the phone.
Yeah.
I know the answer doesn't change ever. None of the people have ever changed their answer, so I'll give that answer. The person that you'd like to be marooned with.
So it has to be like someone who's alive, like...
No, it could be. I mean, it's a fantasy question, so
yes, why
I mean,
not?
you could go with...
I like to go with Einstein.
By the time you come back, he'll have reinvented this phone too. Thank you, Kangana. Always a pleasure. I look forward to us meeting next.